Harvest day. Did my last harvest a few days ago. I noticed there were quite a few frames almost ready, but not fully capped, so I've left them until today. So I'll show you that harvest as we go. And I'll also show you one of my earlier flow hives, which was booming. It was my strongest hive at the time. I was ready to harvest, and a few days later, just before the harvest, the honey disappeared. And I thought maybe it had been robbed or brood hatch, whatever. I couldn't work it out. So I let it go for another few weeks just to see if it was just something that happened and would correct itself, but it hasn't. So I took the super off, went into the brood box, found 2 full frames of honey, very little brood, very erratic laying pattern of the queen, and I just decided to remove her and replace her with a new queen, a Carniolan queen from Graham Beach, and that was Friday. So it's no super on it at the moment. I'm going to check it this Friday, and if I'm happy with what the queen is doing, and I'm sure I will be because Graham sells some great queens, if I'm happy with it, then I'll put the super back on and we'll go from there. So join me, and thanks for your support. Cheers. Right, well, those 2 were my first flow 2s. This was one of 2 original flows that I had, and this is the one that I mentioned where I had to requeen it on Friday last week, and the action is beginning to start again. I will be showing you the inside of that brood box on Friday, when we'll have a look at how the queen has laid and whether they've taken to her, which I'm sure they have. These are the other hives, 2 flow 2s, hybrid, which I'll be harvesting now for the 2nd time this month. This is just such a powerful, strong colony. Love it. And then I'll be not harvesting that one, it's not ready, but that lighter super that you see over there, that's going to have a few frames to harvest, I'd say. And that hybrid definitely will have 3 to 4 frames from memory from yesterday when I checked them, and we'll have a look at that harvest. This is the Langstroth that I brought up from the coast, and I'll be converting that to a hybrid. I've taken the Langstroth super I had, cut it to suit the flow frames, and all I'm doing is waiting for the flow frames to arrive, and I'll be installing that new super, and I think I'll replace the box. As much as I like the look of this old patina ancient box, I think it might need a replacement, only because the back of the box has got some holes in it which I'm not happy with. Other than that, it looks pretty cool. This is hive number 1, and today I will be harvesting not that one or that one, because I don't think that one might be almost all capped, but not quite. That one's still got a bit to go. This one is certainly capped. As you can see, it's up and down both sides. This one is certainly capped. This one needs a few more days, if not a week. Same with that one. So hive number 1, 2 frames. Again, the middle frames. As usual, start in the middle, work outwards. So I'll get set up. Okay, let's first get that ready up here. And sometimes I use the big long hive tool and I just put them in there. Other times I just use a pair of pliers, but if you haven't got a pair of pliers on you, I find that works just as good. There's a Nice spider in there. I think I might leave him alone. He looks pretty happy. That's one thing about living on Mount Tambourine, there's no lack of things biting you. Yesterday I stuck my hand in the letterbox. I knew there was a huge huntsman living in there, but he didn't like it very much with me going in at night, getting the mail. He gave me a bit of a scratchy bite. Anyway, I'm having another look at this frame here, and if it wasn't for that over there, I'd probably harvest it. So I'm just going to give it another look from the side. Got my jars ready, got my pourers on. I've used copper right angles, a nice fall on the tube. I know I could use the shelf that comes with the flow, but I like to get a bit more fall in this. And now comes my favourite part when I crack this. Just never get tired of doing this. So I'll get the keys in. I notice some people like doing it half and half. I just go straight in all the way and then pull them together. So, don't know how I'm going to get the camera to handle this. I'll have to. Now, I've pulled them together towards each other, and now I just go backwards and forwards a few times just to get that fully open. And here it comes. This is beautiful. Just rich, beautiful honey. Hive frame next. Excuse my bad camera work. Speaking of which, if you're waiting for our website, I'm working on it. I'm just a bit busy. So, I don't know if you can pick up any of this. Here we go, number 2. Bees don't know that this is happening. Thank you, Flo. Taking its time, but it's coming. Now I'm going to move on and just see who's next, but before I do that, I have to put these caps back. Not the normal way, just not that way either. I'll get my spider one, just so that the bees don't run in back there, which they tend to like to do. Let's put it back in there upside down. Block it off. The spider will protect me there. This is my favourite hive. It's a hybrid. It's the one I always tell you is the most aggressive. But just have a look at this. I've already harvested this hive once. Just have a look at this. Really busy girls. So I'm going to have a bit of a think about which ones to harvest. I'll be harvesting this one, which is the third one inside, fourth one inside, fifth one, and that one. As you can see, I could do that one, but it's just got a few, I don't know, I'm just going to let that go for a few days. But these two are certainly ready, and that one is certainly ready. They'll keep me busy. Here we go. Run out of the smaller jars, so I'm using the big one. Good sign. Still plenty of frames to do. If you're wondering why I'm using so much cling wrap, it's not just because I don't want the bees to get this whiff of honey, although that's very important obviously. It's also to just make sure that the hose fitting stays where it should. So I'm going to have a cold beer while I watch this. Not a bad way to harvest honey. As has often been said, you still got to be a beekeeper, you still got to take care of that brood box very, very gently, very carefully. So there's no shortcut in beekeeping. All this is an easier way to harvest the honey, especially on the bees. The times that I've done it with a Langstroth, I've killed bees, and not just a few, far more than I wanted to. And this way, you just don't kill a single one. You don't even bother them, I don't think. So, there you go. What a sight. Doing a bit of quality control, and don't know why, but just feel like dating and making a note of which frames, what date. And just keeping an eye on what I'm doing. It's my first year, so who knows what the results will be. The only way to do it is to track it.